love that you're doing that internally at PayScale though, because that's so important in like asking the employees what they want to. Because I think a lot of people are getting to the pay transparency laws and they're like, oh, I have to do this. But then they forget your employees really want you to do this.
Yep.
And I think it has such an impact on culture. So have you observed anything where we were just talking about culture, where like these pay transparency laws are actually helping people build better workplace cultures?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yes, I think is like the automatic answer, but I think we've seen it backfire for companies who don't do it right. So, for example, one of the other reasons that companies are really afraid of doing pay transparency is because they're like, well, crap. Like, okay, let's talk about the Great Resignation period of time where people were paying just absurd amount of money to get people into the door, right? Absurd. Especially engineers. I'm going to pick on engineers all day long because engineers, I feel like, got just the craziest like salary increases just by moving companies. But what we've seen is like, okay, so let's say your engineer, like your entry level engineer is making $150,000 at your company. But you're like, oh my God, it is 2022. We are competing with like the creme de la creme of companies. We've got to get the best engineers in. So you post a range where the low end for the same job that this person is doing, the low end is $200,000. So this guy who's been working with you for a year or two sees the posting and is like, what the heck? Like, you guys just posted a range 50,000 more than what I'm currently making at the low end. It's going to backfire. Yeah. This guy's going to leave. He's going to jump ship and go get paid somewhere else. But at PayScale, what we ended up doing is when pay transparency became a thing, we were like, when Colorado first came out, we were like, well, what are we supposed to do? Like, should we just post ranges for everybody? Because at that time, we still weren't fully remote. We were like, do we just post ranges for everybody? What do we do? And we were really fortunate because we had leadership that said, we got to post ranges everywhere. So we kind of took baby steps. So we said, we're going to post two types of ranges. One is a national range and one is a high cost of living range. So the high cost of living range was, Seattle, LA, Chicago, New York, DC, SF. Yeah. And then we did that for a year. And then we started hearing complaints from people like, why are you punishing me for living in Idaho? Right.
Well, so then living is much cheaper in Idaho.
100%. But like, why are you punishing me because I decided to move there during COVID?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there was like two schools of thought. One school of thought was no one forced you there. So sorry. The other school of thought was, well, then why aren't we just paying everybody equally, regardless of where they are?
Yeah.
So and this is where I sit. I sit in the school of thought of like, it doesn't matter where somebody lives. Like, you should just pay them what they're worth.
Location-agnostic. Yep.
Yeah. So then we decided, okay, fine. We're going to have one salary range for everybody, but we chose the high cost of living range. So every job so we have one range for every job that we have, and it's calculated with the high cost of living range, not the national range, which was like slightly lower.
Yeah. That is amazing.
That's great.
That's very forward thinking. I had this debate till I was blue in the face about being location agnostic or not. And I'm literally telling you, I worked with people in the past that were like, well, this person lives in SF and we definitely have to pay them more. And I'm like, I don't make decisions based on that. I make decisions based on, do you have the qualifications and are you at this level for the role? But I got a lot of heat for it back then because people were not happy about that stance.
I think it makes a difference.
Like, we don't agree with that.
I think if you're a remote company, 100% location agnostic, I'm with you. I'm going to fight behind you and stand on ground with you on that. However, if you are requiring somebody to go into an office in SF, I think that makes a difference if you have offices in different locations, right? So like if you've got a San Francisco office and a Nashville office, maybe there is an argument for paying the Nashville folks slightly less than your San Francisco folks because you're forcing them to move to that area of the country and you're forcing them to go into an office. But for remote work, 100% location agnostic is where I fall.